work today. Isn't he cute? Hi, Micah. He's like 9 years old. Okay, so I have a 2.5-year-old daughter at home, and technically that's a terrible twos. So I've been thinking about discipline a lot lately, probably in the past year. And I know a lot of you guys have been thinking about the same thing, because when I asked you a couple days ago, the overwhelming response is that you're thinking about discipline, which is the toughest topic ever because there's so many facets to cover. But I am not an expert. I am not a psychology expert. I am not super nanny. I wish I were all those things, but I'm just the mom of Kayla and this one expecting next month. But I boil it down to 4 rules of thumb when I think about discipline. For one, it's, I think whatever method, we're not going to go over whether spanking is the way or timeout is the way, because, you got to choose, as the parent, you choose the method that you think is right for your child and your family. But I do think that you need to research and really learn or teach yourself how to do that method. So whether it's timeout, don't assume that you know how to do it. And I think that surprised me when I was going through it. I thought timeout was like you put your child in timeout and you count for 3 minutes or whatever. But once I really got to understand it and read about it, I realized there's a whole method, and there's definitely a step process, and there's a reason for every single step. And whether I do it right or when I do it wrong, it totally makes a difference with Kayla. So I think that's my first rule of thumb, is research it, really learn how to do it, teach yourself how to do it, and that's really important. And the second rule of thumb is consistency. So consistency meaning that if you choose this method of like 1, 2, 3, counting, that every time you count to 3, there's got to be a consequence. I know a lot of times we get so tired. Believe me, I feel that right now. You get so tired, or you feel like your mind is elsewhere, but I feel like you need to be consistent, because then that's where, your children will really understand what's right and wrong. And the consistency also to be on the same page with your spouse or your partner, and even your nanny or your daycare, just to have that conversation of, how you discipline your child and to make it sure it's consistent. And the third one is really never out of anger. I think we all know that as parents, but it's kind of a good reminder for all of us. So when we get frustrated or angry or whatever, that, you don't discipline out of that anger, but that you always get in the mentality of being a teacher and just understanding, what's right and wrong, and that's really why you're doing it. And my last and probably most important rule of thumb is something that, again, my dad taught me and told me all the time, is when you discipline, never do it in public. So if you're in the grocery store, go out to the car. If you're at a party, go into another room. So it's not that when you're in public that you don't discipline, but just take them out of that public setting, because even at a very young age, children can really sense the feeling of shame. They might not be able to say it's shame, but they know. And that can really hurt their self-confidence. And so that's something I'm really big on, is really protecting their self-confidence as children. So those are the 4 rules of thumb. I hope that helps. Please share your rules of thumb with me, because as I said, I'm going to keep going with this, and I need your help as well. So, comment on this, email me. And it's really funny, because I think Kayla's really understanding what's right or wrong, because she gave me a timeout the other day because of Micah. He's 9 years old. I get so frustrated with him sometimes, and I was yelling at him. He was barking, and I was just like, Micah, shut up! Be quiet. I didn't say shut up, okay? So sorry. Don't judge me for that. No. I just said, like, Micah, be quiet! Oh my gosh, stop barking! And I was so mad. And then Kayla looked at me, and she goes, Mommy, you have to be nice to Micah. It cracked me up. But I was like, whoa. And she's like, you have to be nice. No yelling, no hitting. You get timeout. And she literally took my hand, put us over to the timeout, spot on the staircase. And she told me, she goes, 2 minutes, timeout, timeout. And it was so funny. So I was just like, I wonder what she's doing. So I acted like I was sad. So I was kind of like, And then she comes back, maybe 15 seconds later though. And she goes, say sorry, timeout, you said you were mean to Micah, be nice. And then say sorry. And she goes, hug. And she gave her a hug. I literally had to hold it in. But I think, when I step back, I think it's really, really cool that she gave me a timeout in a sense, because she's keeping me accountable what's right or wrong. And so that's what I think discipline is, at least in my approach, is just setting those boundaries, teaching them right from wrong, what's acceptable, not acceptable. And that's our biggest role as a parent. So, okay, I am signing out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Micah, sit. Sit, boy. Sit. Good boy. Down. Go to your side. Play dead. Good boy.